Hello you guys, and welcome to Abundantly Minimal. My name is Sarah, and thank you so much for joining me for this channel update video. I was planning on uploading a different video this week, but just through a few different scheduling and timing things, realized I didn't have enough time to give it the attention it deserves. So we're switching that, so stay tuned. Next Wednesday is going to be one of my best videos I've put together thus far. I have a feeling just with some of the planning, how it's going. But I wanted to share this very relaxed, no makeup, filming it at 11 p.m. the night before it goes out, informal setup here about a couple changes that are happening to the channel that I am beyond excited about. I'm not sure the full level of excitement will really be demonstrated in this video just because I am pretty tired as I'm filming this, but it is a change that I did not foresee coming. Like when this year started, I had no idea that this would be the path. I thought this would be the path a little bit later on, but life has a way of, going through twists and turns and making different things happen that you didn't necessarily expect. You could also kind of tie it in with decluttering, I suppose. A couple big changes that are happening in my own life, essentially things I'm decluttering, if you wish to say that. I'm actually getting rid of my car, which by itself, it is a big thing, but it doesn't necessarily make sense until I say the other thing. I actually am getting rid of my day job, essentially. I did submit my resignation as a teacher. This was definitely an unplanned situation. I was thinking I would work one more year as a teacher before taking kind of like an extended maternity leave. That was kind of the plan, to be a stay-at-home mom. Now, I'm not pregnant yet. This is not what this video is about here. But what has been so interesting is that over the past year, I've felt very fortunate to see both Abundantly Minimal as well as my other company I run, Mr. and Mrs. Social Studies, which sells teaching resources to teachers. I was really lucky to see both of them grow so much. And there's a lot of layers to this, but just the fact that they've both grown so much has been very exciting. When this school year started, at least just on the Abundantly Minimal channel, we had a community of about 9,000 subscribers. And the fact that at the point of filming this, we're already at 32,000. And it's just been, over the span of 9 months, essentially, blows my mind. That's crazy for a year, have that kind of growth. And I've been having so much fun with the creation of different parts of both companies. And there's ultimately a couple reasons I decided to, make the jump. I think one of them is just that I was struggling to keep up with the demands of balancing both. And when you are trying to take on too much, unfortunately, you can't give your best work in any of the categories. And I was, especially the second half of the year, I was starting to feel that I wasn't able to keep up fully with everything. And it wasn't like, oh, I could just stop doing this, because I really was enjoying all the different parts and I didn't want to let anything go. But it was just tough to be able to keep up and balance it. And it does seem to be a point where I want to be focusing on the businesses full time. It also comes down to impact. Obviously, teachers are incredible and make such a huge difference in this world, and I felt lucky to be able to be a teacher for 5 years to do that. That being said, I do think that I can hopefully help more people. I teach about 120, 130 students each year, which is an amazing impact you can have if you're hopefully able to, positively influence some of your students. But with Abundantly Minimal, I'm able to reach so many of you, literally thousands of you, through making these videos. I know many of you have spoken out to me and shared that these videos have been helpful to you, and that's so cool. And that's not bound by the number of kids I can have in my classroom. I can really help an unlimited amount of people through YouTube and through the courses I put together and other ways that I will hopefully continue to reach people. And with my teacher curriculum resources that I've created, it's crazy. There's been over 3,000 teachers that have been using my lesson plans. And that's also really exciting because I have a huge passion for social studies and for teaching. And unfortunately, I think for whatever reason, there's a lot of different curriculums that don't excite students and that aren't as relevant. And that's something I'm trying to bring. I'm trying to bring that excitement, that engagement, skills that the students actually need at the secondary level. And so if I can, dive deeper into that, when you just think that if you can give resources to one teacher that are going to help him or her in whatever the subject is and then reach their students, your impact can grow so much. And so I'm really, really excited to see what happens. This is definitely a little bit of a risk to not be on, traditional salary anymore. Jake still will be teaching, so we will have, that set income that we can count on. But I'm really excited to take the plunge with it. And I think the final big reason, even though there's many more reasons that fit into it, is just that I'm excited to shift into a healthier schedule. At this phase of life, Jake and I are getting ready to start trying to have our first child. We want to focus more on family going forward. And one thing that's been tough with balancing both of them is that despite me loving the business work so much, it does require many hours on my nights and weekends. And pretty much everything you see here on Abundantly Minimal, and the videos, the course, cookbook, like everything that's been created as part of it, as well as the other company, that's what my night and weekend work. And I'm hoping to shift into focusing on that like during my days as the full-time job, and then actually get my weekends back, get nights back, and actually sleep like a normal human. Try to sleep, 8 hours a day, which is something that hasn't happened for a long time. So those are all some of the reasons why I'm excited about this. But I do want to get into some of the changes that you can expect. First of all, I am so excited because with Abundantly Minimal, I've kept videos consistent, but I basically haven't been able to manage any other aspect of creating content for you. I've intended to do other type of social media. I've intended to do blog posts on abundantlyminimal.com. I've intended to send out email newsletters of encouragement and decluttering tips, and I just haven't been able to. I can't find the time to be able to make it happen. But going forward, not only will you still be able to obviously view the YouTube videos, and hopefully they'll continue to get better at having actually more time to put into them, but there will also be blog posts. I love to blog a couple times per week, and I'll actually engage with you guys on social media and not post once a month if I'm lucky. And I love to communicate more with you guys through email. Those are all things that I really want to do, and I look forward to being able to give you now that I'll actually be able to have more time allotted to it. So that's something I'm incredibly excited for. Just making sure that everything I'm creating is really high value and worth your time. We live in a society where there's so much noise, there's so much going on, and every time you choose to watch a video and listen to whatever I'm saying here, you're making that choice and you're giving up a little bit of your time. So it's my responsibility to make sure the time that you give, I'm giving you value for that. So you feel like your time was well spent and that it helps you. That's my goal here. Now, with this shift, another important layer that I'd like to be very transparent about is regarding monetization of things. Obviously, I was working full-time as a teacher, and now I am depending on Abundantly Minimal and Mr. and Mrs. Social Studies to create that full-time income. Now, there's not going to be a lot of changes because I think out of the two of them, and in full transparency right now, the bulk of my online income is coming from Abundantly Minimal and not as much from the teacher resources. However, also that's how my time has been spent. I really want to do a lot of work with my teaching business to really be able to create more resources for teachers. I actually have a wait list of teaching products that I want to create of over 250 ideas. I have way too many ideas for the time I've had. So there's definitely going to be a lot of growth coming from that side. So there's not necessarily going to be as many drastic changes here at Abundantly Minimal just because that is more established. The prime monetization with Abundantly Minimal on a regular basis has to do with the ads on the videos. However, as that is something that I do not have control over, that's definitely not a sustainable business practice to just have, a large percentage of your livelihood depending on those YouTube ads. So there are kind of 3 additional layers that you will see over the upcoming season of Abundantly Minimal videos. And I just want to be fully transparent now. And of course, as I describe these things, if it's something that you feel like you will no longer want to watch the videos or consume my content because of it, that's fine. I'll kind of go into more details about the things. I like to be upfront and communicate this, especially as, there will be some slight change, although it's not really going to affect any of the regular scheduled videos, the once a week on Wednesday videos. But anyway, the first thing you're going to notice is that I am going to be expanding the courses and ebooks that I offer over the next year or so. I did launch my first course, the Better with Less course, which is like, my baby. I spent so much time on it and I am genuinely loving it. If any of you who are watching are in the course right now, I just am, so thrilled with how the course is going, and it has been so meaningful to see your transformations. We have a pretty active Facebook group, and people are always posting like before and after pictures of different spaces. Right now in the course content, people are tackling storage areas, and I could not be more proud of like all the work they're doing. It's thrilling. So I'm loving that. The courses is definitely something I love doing. It probably connects with my love of teaching, and putting the courses together is something I'm really excited about. And I've got currently 3 ideas for courses, one that I've started working on, but that I also want to have that I'll focus on slightly different elements within the minimalism sphere. So there are going to be courses, and I have currently 3 more books that I'd like to write that I have the ideas for that relate to minimalism. And so again, these are just project wait lists because I don't have time to do them all, and we'll focus on them one at a time. But that being said, you will hear me talk about these courses and ebooks as they come out. I know I talked about the Better with Less course during the registration period, and when the registration opens again, probably in late August, I'll be talking about it again in videos. And you will likely hear about these courses and these different books periodically as they come out, or if I'm, referencing them or offering a new sign-up option for them. So that's obviously going to be one layer that you're going to hear about. Monetization can definitely be a challenge coming from, the minimalist perspective, because my bottom line, and something that hopefully you're aware of if you've watched at least several of the videos, is that I don't want you to buy something if it's not going to be a good fit for you. Obviously, it doesn't mean we never consume things, but because I don't want to be, committing to sponsorships that I don't believe in and working with companies that I don't fully agree with or wouldn't actually buy, it is more important to me to focus on these courses and ebooks that I create and selling those instead. So again, I will be creating these things and talking about them on the channel here and there, and I just want you to be aware of that. Kind of leading in then to the sponsorship question. This is definitely a tricky topic within the minimalism space, and I do highly value, not being a sellout and that kind of thing. I actually, it's funny, in the last couple months especially, I cannot keep up with the companies that are reaching out. And in my business email, I keep a folder called Not Interested that I just send all the emails into that folder just to kind of keep record. And so far, I've turned down over 200 companies who've wanted to do either a sponsorship or have me do a video about a product or certain things. And a lot of them, you can tell, don't actually take the time to watch your video and know what you're about. Some of them are more personal. And I've even turned down some great companies who have amazing values. It's just that, for instance, there was a watch company that reached out to me, and amazing company, great ethics, sustainability, very minimalist aesthetic. But the truth is, I don't wear watches. I don't intend to ever wear watches. I love not wearing one. And so I'm not going to talk about a watch because I'm literally never going to wear one, even if it's a great company and I could make money from it. I don't care. That's not me. You're never going to see me wearing a watch. That's a promise. Joking aside, I am taking this very seriously, and if I do decide to work with a sponsor, it does mean that I do genuinely support the company and it actually is relevant to my life, the kind of thing that I would purchase or have purchased with my own money beforehand. I have done one sponsored video in the past, and with that, I know there definitely were some frustrations shared in the comments, and I understand because it wasn't something you had seen before from my channel. Also, it was a learning experience for me because first time working with a sponsor, signing a contract, and then realizing a little bit last minute, just because a lot of my work ends up being last minute since I tend to overcommit to things, realizing I had to do some drastic changes based upon the contract, which meant the video ended up being way shorter and different than I had planned. So I totally understand why there was frustration there. But what I do want to share is that with sponsored content, for any video that is sponsored, I will actually not upload that on Wednesdays. So just going forward, if you prefer to not watch any of my sponsored videos that I may choose to do in the future, I will be purposefully uploading those not on Wednesdays. I know there have been days in the past where I might not upload a video on Wednesday, it might not get done till Friday or something, but going full time with this, that's not going to be an issue anymore. That will just be one way you're able to know, and then it won't actually cut into your weekly video. There will always still be that once a week video you can count on that won't have any sponsored content. So that's kind of a way I felt like compromise on that, just to be extra transparent. That being said, I don't think sponsorships are going to be happening very regularly, most likely tops once a month going forward. Like I said before, I really want to focus on like the courses and the books and that sort of thing. The last layer of monetization that I've definitely been thinking about would be offering exclusive weekly videos on a Patreon sort of platform, or Patreon itself, just as a way, if you would like more content, more than the weekly video, that you could have a bonus video per week, depending upon the tiers and how many people are interested. So that will be something I also offer, depending on the interest, and that would probably start in August or September. So those are just a few changes that I anticipate coming. Again, not anything drastic in terms of the videos, but a lot of additional content on the blog and social media and some of those sources. So even though it's definitely late at night here, I was more so talking through nuts and bolts. I'm so excited for this change. I think it's going to be really exciting. I mean, from my perspective, I'm really excited for it. I think it's going to help me achieve a more balanced life. I think we'll be able to do a lot more with the videos. Like I said originally, it wasn't my plan to have it happen this way, but it feels like the right decision at this time, and we're just going to run with it and see what happens. That being said, especially if you made it this far in the video, thank you so much. With this, obviously, I know behind the scenes how much work goes into everything, but you can put a ton of work in, and if there's no one there to watch it, then you're not going to go anywhere, especially with YouTube. And you're here to watch it. You show up to watch videos. You leave me amazing comments. That means so much to me, genuinely. I read every comment and try to respond to as many as I can, which still ends up being most of them. And interacting with you and hearing about your successes, it means so much. And I'm just excited to be able to continue doing that and actually hopefully do that more going forward. But again, thank you for everything. It means a lot. I hope you have a wonderful week. I'm really excited for next week's video. So stay tuned for next week, next Wednesday, and we'll see you then. Bye.